I've got death threats threatening my family. And she said, well, I haven't got death threats. Do you know why I haven't got death threats? Because I'm a nice person. Yeah? And I said, try and talk about Islam, you'll have death threats. 7 years later, she spoke about Islam, and then she's sitting on Loose Women crying, saying, oh, I've got death threats. It's like, welcome to the real world, darling. Yeah.
What has happened to me through having this opinion and speaking out the way I do, it's destroyed my life, it's destroyed my wife's life, it's destroyed my mother's life. I live with constant death threats. I've got some of them here if you want to read when we talk about a two-tier policing system. I have to wear a bulletproof vest. I've got people wanting to murder me and massacre me.
Well, then stop being a racist and a bigot.
Racist? Can you please explain one thing I've ever said?
I am a British citizen. I was born in this country, and I do not spout off rubbish like you do. Okay?
No, what am I saying that's rubbish?
I haven't got death threats. Do you know why? It's because I'm a nice person.
Please explain. If you talk against Islam, you'll have death threats.
In this culture, it's even more taboo, because once you bring shame to your family, that's it. You know, the consequences are you could be killed.
Breaking right now. Tommy Robinson has secured a significant endorsement in his bid to become an acceptable figure to lead the British Revolution, that of Ayaan Hirsi Ali, one of the world's most highly respected critics of Islam who lived through the hell of the Muslim Brotherhood. Her significant intervention came after watching Tommy Robinson's Triggernometry interview, where she posted on X, just watch this, Robinson is brave, steadfast, and a hero of our times. Now, I believe that this was really significant from Ayaan, because when she was here on Outspoken last year, I asked her about Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage, because at that point there was this war raging, I guess it's still raging, between the two men, and what direction we need to take to save the United Kingdom. And I want to show you her response, but I would argue that she was coming down more on the side of Nigel, and her support of Tommy Robinson was lukewarm at best. Watch.
When the label xenophobe or far right or racist is thrown around, I find that not credible. So my instinct, my impulse is not to look at Tommy Robinson and think, oh, he's far right. I think that's he's labeled that way because of the issues that he's talking about and he's raising. But I think that the question you're asking is, should you do it through the political system, or should you do it outside of the political system in a radical, flame-throwing way? And it's not, I don't think we have a choice in this. I don't think you can sit there and say, you know, you do it the radical way, you do it through the... I would choose to do it through the system. I would choose to say, first of all, it's this system that's democratic, okay? The rule of law, the political culture that we have, we formed over many centuries, that's parliamentary. That's exactly what we wanted to preserve. That is what the radical Islamists wanted to destroy. So let's not help them destroy it. So let's do it through the system and get the majority we need to change the policies, to get to the policies that we need to get to.
But so much has changed in such a short period of time, and Ayaan Hirsi Ali now describing Tommy Robinson as a hero of our times. Here's some of that interview that changed her mind. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address, and sign up today.
You've got to arrest him, stop him, shut down this, and then the government just go, ooh, and we'll just pander to them. So you've seen, and then now the country's seen it. You saw it on the Hamas riots. You saw them calling for jihad on the streets. literally calling for jihad, and then the police are putting out a statement saying jihad has lots of different meanings. Well, not when it's coming from his butt to here, it doesn't. Because that man saying it is part of a prescribed terrorist organisation in most countries, but not this pathetic country.
It is now.
It is now.
It wasn't at the time.
Again,
Right.
it is now. Why now? Why wasn't it for the last 20 years? His butt to here, every Islamic society in every university around this country was his butt to here. So kids are going to university, and a terrorist group, because they're now a terrorist group, but they've always been a terrorist group. Just our weak, pathetic government didn't prescribe them because they didn't want to upset people. It's like mad. You don't upset them until they're calling for jihad, until they're openly saying the madness that we know they've been promoting anyway. Yeah, they've made universities total no-go zones for certain communities, and whilst jihad runs.
And how can you disagree with that hypocrisy? Tommy hadn't finished there.
What happened, Tommy?
A gentleman steps off the train at St Pancras, so he's ready to leave St Pancras. I come into St Pancras and I go to get my train. He sees me and he beelines for me. He follows me, but he don't just follow me, he gets here in my face. Yeah, he's in my face, he's confronting me, telling me he'll end me, telling me how little I am, screaming at me. I mean, screaming at me, yeah? Screaming at me. And I'm the whole time just going, mate, fuck off. And I do warn him multiple times. I said, look, as I was watching, I'm paranoid anyway. I've just come out of 7 months in solitary confinement. Yeah, I'm pretty on edge. I remember for the last couple of months, I'm not myself anyway. Basically, he follows me for 2 minutes and he's getting in my way and I'm trying to get round him and I get away from him once and he comes back after me again. And then I'll say to him, mate, if you come back in with my space, I'm going to defend myself. Because in my mind, he was just trying to get close enough to snake me. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I know what you're doing, but I know what you're doing. So I was trying to move back and I get to the top of the escalators at the stairs and he's following me. So now I think, well, he'll kick me downstairs. Yeah, I'm going down to a train. He'll kick me in front. And he was a big fella. If you look at it, he was a much bigger fella. It's not hard to be bigger than me, but he was a big fella. I then step back to let him go. So go on, you fucking go. Yeah, you go down the stairs. But he doesn't go down the stairs. He gets to the top of the stairs and he turns on me. This has all happened quick to me. I know I've had to defend myself. He's ended up asleep on the floor. I've only hit him once. Yeah, I've pushed him, and as he continued to come at me, the whole time I'm going backwards. But I couldn't really remember at the time, or straight afterwards. So as soon as this has happened, he don't look in a good state. Yeah? I'm thinking, right, I'm on London Underground, I'm on my own, crowds are going to come, this ain't going to be good. So I leave. As soon as I leave, I contact the police, which is the recording you would listen to. Contact the police and say, look, lads, this has happened. I've been walking, I've been accosted, I've been threatened, I've tried to get away multiple times. I had no option.
And perhaps what was most powerful, I mean, obviously that was him addressing the most recent scandal, but I think perhaps what was most powerful in the Triggernometry interview was when he was able to prove that his message had been so consistent over so many years that it has started to prove so many of his detractors wrong. But first, the #1 worst fruit for your waistline. Look, are you turning healthy fruits into highly unhealthy fruits without even realizing it? Fruit can be one of the healthiest things you can put into your body, but the majority of Americans are guilty of making this single mistake that can counteract all of the health benefits of fruit. Some fruits can help with occasional constipation, reduce bloating, and even help burn calories. Others can wreak havoc on your digestive system and energy levels. Now, I came across this viral presentation from world-renowned heart surgeon Dr. Stephen Gundry that showcases the 3 fruits to stop eating today. It was shocking. I had no idea. And after finding it out, I've stopped eating these 2. I'm going to put a link for you all to watch it because I want you all to gain this information. I think it's truly important, actually. You can go watch it right now at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. I've also linked it in the description box below this video too, or if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you can just click on the QR code on screen or hold up your phone, you go to the QR code, you know how it works. Oh, and by the way, eliminating these fruits could forever change the way we help increase energy levels, decrease brain fog, support digestion, and even lose weight. So make sure to click on the link below or go to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken to find out now. Dr. Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic. He feels younger today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date. You can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. Just click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
I've got death threats threatening my family, and she said, well, I haven't got death threats. Do you know why I haven't got death threats? Because I'm a nice person. Yeah? And I said, try and talk about Islam, you'll have death threats. 7 years later, she spoke about Islam, and then she's sitting on Loose Women crying, saying, oh, I've got death threats. It's like, welcome to the real world, darling. Yeah.
What has happened to me through having this opinion and speaking out the way I do, it's destroyed my life, it's destroyed my wife's life, it's destroyed my mother's life. I live with constant death threats. I've got some of them here if you want to read when we talk about a two-tier policing system. I have to wear a bulletproof vest. I've got people wanting to murder me and massacre me.
Well, then stop being a racist and a bigot.
Racist? Can you please explain one thing I've ever said?
I am a British citizen. I was born in this country, and I do not spout off rubbish like you do. Okay?
No, what am I saying that's rubbish?
I haven't got death threats. Do you know why? It's because I'm a nice person.
Please explain.
I want harmony
If you talk against Islam, you'll have death threats.
In this culture, it's even more taboo, because once you bring shame to your family, that's it. You know, the consequences are you could be killed, you could be ostracised, and literally you just, you know, the whole family splits up. When I came on here to talk about what happened to me, it was a family member. It took me years to come out and say it, and I just did it spontaneously on Loose Women. The repercussions on my family have been horrendous.
Did some of them not believe you?
They didn't believe me. They had a go at my mum. You know, it went all the way back to Pakistan and the family there. So, look...
Which illustrates perfectly why, as a 13-year-old or whatever, you wouldn't come out and say something.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fascinating, and I think not a surprise that Ayaan Hirsi Ali has come out now so publicly supporting Tommy Robinson. Of course, for those who don't know, she is a Somali-born politician. She went through the hell, the absolute hell of extreme Islam, including, by the way, fleeing an arranged marriage. And of course, there was a fatwa against her after a very controversial film called Submission with Theo Van Gogh in 2004, which resulted in his murder. To my superstar panel, Kezia Noble and Lalani Dowding. Lalani, I mean, how on earth can you claim that Tommy Robinson is in the wrong when you had Saira Khan all of those years ago describing him as a racist? Mm-hmm. Then she speaks up about some of the terrible, terrible things that go on as a Muslim woman in the United Kingdom, where I believe she is now non-practicing. And she immediately talks about the ostracization that went on, the challenges to her family. I mean, I know there were many years between those two interviews, but fundamentally, she proved his point.
Absolutely. And this is what seems to happen with everything that Tommy has said. Time goes on and it looks like he was right about things. I watched that podcast. It's almost 3 hours long. And it was fascinating because they really let him delve into how he started and things that happened to him and his family in Luton, which was a rough town, which a lot of us would never, you know, dream about and have nightmares about even. And then, you know, fast forward to now, what he is talking about in Luton, you see it down in Bournemouth, in my hometown, that used to be this like sleepy little retirement town. And you see a lot of what he's talking about with the knife crime and the rapes and everything, you see it happening there. So a lot of things that he has said, and he talks about them all on Triggernometry have come to pass for everyone else in the nicer parts of the country than Luton. And I think it's a really important podcast to listen to. And I can see Constantine and Francis, their opinion is changing and their faces change in real time listening to him. And they do push back on him. They ask him about, you know, his, you know, violence earlier on and the football hooliganism. And so they give pushback to him, but when you listen to him, you're like, wow, you know, he's grown up. He's now 40, not in his 20s, and he makes a lot of sense in what he's saying. And this is what I've said a lot as well. Like the lady that you're talking about, who is advocating for these women? He talks about honor killings. You know, he doesn't just bash all Muslims. He talks about Muslim women and advocates for them and the honor killings and how that are happening in Britain. Or Pakistani girls that are sent away to go and get married. He talks about all of this as well. And he talks about Saudi Arabia and UAE, who recognize the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist groups, and our soft governments still don't. You know, he talks about that. So he doesn't just go pure, you know, anti every single Muslim. He's talking about extremism, and he's talking about how, you know, in the more moderate Muslim countries, they're not allowing these terrorists and extremists, which is probably why they come here where they've got safe harbor, you know, and the 40,000 Islamist terrorists on a watch list in the UK, and 3,000 of those have to be followed 24/7.
Yeah, Kezia Noble, it was such a fascinating interview because, of course, Konstantin Kisin and Francis Foster, the hosts of Triggernometry, had actually been on the bandwagon, I guess, for some time of no, we're not going to have Tommy Robinson on. And I think their changing position, but also the full throttle support of Ayaan Hirsi Ali is part of this rapidly shifting Overton window when it comes to the acceptance of Tommy Robinson as an important force in the British culture.
100%, Dan. And I think that this is an opportunity where the right need to unite. That's something that the right struggle with a lot. So this would be a great time to see reform councillors and spokespersons at least be allowed to show their support. Because you see, he's speaking now for more and more people. His popularity is growing. Whether you like it or not, it is growing. And you can't ignore him anymore. You can't ignore his message anymore. You can't just sit there and hope he goes away quietly, because he won't. And if he does, his message will continue. So this is a point in time where the egos need to be put aside, and we just need to unite, because his message is strong and it is growing.
Totally. And this attempt by the mainstream media to turn Tommy Robinson into a bogeyman, to pretend he doesn't exist, to only report on him when there's some type of criminal witch hunt going on, or there's some type of court case going on, as Talk TV and GB News does. Unfortunately, I just think it speeds up your death. It speeds up the death of the mainstream media, because any serious media organization in this country can't just ignore Tommy Robinson, but also can't just dismiss Tommy Robinson as a far-right thug. Because, of course, we're coming to next month's Uniting the Kingdom rally. What happens if, as Tommy Robinson predicts, there's 1 million in the capital city protesting peacefully? Just imagine if that were a left-wing protest, like the protest against the Iraq War in Tony Blair's days, which received wall-to-wall coverage. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how they deal with the next few weeks.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.